So for this practice session today, we're going to be contemplating together what it is to have a multicultural Sangha and how all this can be embodied with the three bases. And as part of that, um, it's our intention to have cross-cultural communication, but we also recognize that there's sensitivity that can arise uh, just by being humans with differences. So if you would prefer to be with what we call an affinity grouping, people of similar gender or culture or sexual orientation or race, could you please let Nancy know, because she's going to sort the rooms into triads. So whatever's going to be most comfortable for you. And Sandra, I invite you to speak to that if there's anything you want to add about affinity groups.
Thank you, Michelle. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for your practice and being here. We just want to bring the best qualities to meditation for everybody. So if you feel drawn to specific to an affinity group, please just let us know. The intention is to that everyone feels comfortable and they can practice in a wholesome way. So if not, don't worry, that's also okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And it just warms my heart just hearing your voice, Sandra, because we've been practicing in preparation for about a month, getting to know each other. We met at the June retreat, the teachers' retreat in Holland, and we didn't get a chance to practice. So this has been our practicing experience. So I already noticed the conditioning around your voice. It's really nice. Yeah, so what we've been exploring is culture as a vehicle for Dhamma, how culture can support awakening. And here we're defining culture as the way of life, including arts, beliefs, institutions, of a population that are passed down from generation to generation. So culture includes codes of manners, dress, language, rituals, religion. That's not my phone. Oh, thank you. Thanks. So yeah, all of these things are culture, right? Laws, morality, our systems of belief. So we're looking at how these are supported and support these three bases. And Sandra and I grew up in different cultures. Mine is the US, East Coast. I come from Ashkenazi Jewish heritage and religious background. Sandra's is Mexican, indigenous, and Spanish. And we explored things like relax, like the whole samadhi, the guideline, relax together, and looking at our own cultural relationship to um, that guideline. Like, what about our culture? What does our culture tell our minds about relaxing? Um, so when we would meet each week, we would ask each other, what were you just doing before you arrived? And noticed over and over again for me that I would squeeze in, every last email just before I would come to prepare myself to be done with that so that I could arrive. And that's energy. It has an ardency to it. And Sandra, there was one occasion where, well, she was inviting relaxation so that she could be fresh and awake in her arrival for practicing with me. So we had these two different arrivals, and I think very culturally conditioned in a lot of ways. So really interesting to look at. Um, So the Sunday Sangha series is related to the three bases, the relational base, the meditative base, and the wisdom base. And we're kind of wrapping all that with this cultural piece. And the relational base is inherently, culture's relational. It's all the things we do together in community. So the wisdom base, that can be supported by your culture. Does your culture support you in understanding suffering, the causes of suffering, and what ends suffering? Or maybe not, right? Maybe leading in another direction. Does it support you in the ethical path, those aspects of wisdom, really understanding cause and effect and consequence? And then the meditative qualities, like does the culture support um, mindfulness, concentration? How do we do that with our culture? Um, so that's what we're going to look at together. And since we are an international, multicultural Sangha, this is a really great opportunity for us to highlight some of the aspects of our own culture and then the culture that we're co-creating. So I'm going to invite us into triads practice. And our first contemplation is going to be what aspects of your culture help you to be present, help with these qualities of mindfulness, tranquility, these factors of awakening. And I want to, I guess this is a caution, um, because I notice for me when I bring up my culture, I may notice the more unwholesome qualities. And this is a meditation, in cultivating the wholesome. We're really looking at what qualities of our culture support us in being present, in wisdom. So I can give you an example. Excuse me. And as soon as I bring this to the mind, this fall that we're sitting here in fall, and it's the time of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the time between those two, the Jewish holidays, the days of awe. And this culture that I grew up in, it's an invitation each year at this time to reflect on the past and to, invite intention for the future. So even that marking, and noticing the change actually supports impermanence, this understanding of impermanence, and also of being mindful of one's intention. So it's a way for me to really understand my culture and how it can support me in being present. So 5 minutes each speaker, separate speakers, and then you'll have a full 15 minutes to explore this together in open dialogue. And yeah, I invite you to pause and really notice in this moment how your culture supports presence. Any questions? Okay, enjoy your multicultural practice.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for your practice. Sometimes, and only sometimes, when we get in touch with concepts in the mind, like ideas that are close to our minds, we tend to identify mindfulness with the concept. So it's when we start to believe we're thinking, and that may trigger emotions, sensations, thoughts, memories, all sort of things. So we're just gonna invite for a couple of minutes the pause again to strain it or mindfulness to feel more present. So I invite you to put yourself again in a comfortable position. To close your eyes if you feel comfortable, or keep them open. Remembering that even though life go past, you're still breathing. I invite you to pay attention into the most obvious sensation, perhaps, that you have right now. Whatever is there that you are already feeling it, and the effort you need to do to be aware of so little. Mindfulness in Pali is sati, which means to remember. We are remembering, paying attention to the present moment. Right now, right here, what is happening? Can you be relaxed into whatever is happening right now? Perhaps you can let go, clinging if there is some. Is there anything you can smooth, make it more smooth, make it more flexible? more at ease. And experience what happens when you're actually relaxed in the present moment. Seeing clearly the unfolding of just nature. Be open to it. Just accept whatever it may unfold. And I invite you to bring these qualities of mind through the rest of our contemplation. Now that you have tasted, just remembering to taste it again. And if you're ready, you can open your eyes. Perhaps have a look in the room where you are. Gaze to your spiritual friends on the computer and see what does that trigger to you. Thank you everybody for their practice. Michele already gave us an introduction to the three vases, the meditation qualities, the wisdom qualities, and the relational qualities. And I heard once Gregory mentioning that the people that practice ID most likely will experience these three vases through the time. They will even go deeper in these three vases. And I need to say that has been my case every single time I practice ID. I experience one of these three vases, or I even go deeper in one of them. With Michele, we have been gathering together and practicing together. And what was very interesting this time practicing with Michele was that I was very much aware of the benefits of relational qualities. I think probably I had experienced before, but this time it was so like present, so in the body. And Michele and I will come to our meetings with this good intention to create a nice environment for both of us, where we will feel safe and secure and open to whatever it may arise in our experience. And both of us, we already have the intention to work on multicultural aspects. So we were engaging each other with the knowing of we come from different backgrounds. Let's see how that unfolds. And I was very amazed to see that the sense of safety that both of us create allowed or triggered the meditation qualities on itself. At least for myself, I was not trying to, oh, I'm going to be as joyful as I can. It will just arise and happen. And I was so surprised. I was like, whoa, this sense of safety is so important. So then the meditation qualities and even the three bases can unfold in a natural way. I'm sure many of you have heard this famous sutta where Ananda is asking to the Buddha, Ananda, his assistant, how important was the spiritual friendship in the path. And Ananda was wondering if it was like 50% of the path, this is spiritual friendship. And to the surprise of Ananda, the Buddha mentioned, no, Ananda is 100% of the path. It's very nice when you hear these kind of stories, but it's even nicer when you have the opportunity to experience why the Buddha was saying that. And through the practice with Michele, I was able to see things about my own culture I was not aware of. It's almost like she opened up all these doors. I was like, oh my God, there's so much here I was not even aware of. And thanks to her and thanks to our friendship and the base of safety, just the practice unfold like a rocket, I felt. I think Michele can talk to that too, but I felt like that. So no wonder why Sangha is perceived as a precious gem, something truly precious that does trigger wholesome qualities in the mind. And Michele and I, we were experiencing this and we were wondering, how can we build that, what Michele and I had with everybody? How will that be possible? And we thought, well, let's run an experiment and see how it's possible to do so. So for our next contemplation, we will be all together in the large group. And I will be very happy to invite you to explore this precious gem of the Sangha and use this gem as a meditation object that you can inquire, that you can explore, that is a potential to deepen your practice, that perhaps can help you to understand suffering and the causes of suffering. So while you're practicing all together, perhaps you can use the tools of the 7 factors of awakening, which are this mindfulness. Just remember we were practicing together. Investigate what you may don't see before in this precious gem. Bring joy to it. Have energy to inquire and even bring some stability of mind or even equanimity. So what we are gonna explore together right now is what cultural conditions, qualities are helping us as a multicultural Sangha to awake and to be present. I repeat again our contemplation, which is what cultural conditions, qualities are helping us as a multicultural Sangha to awake and to be present. Remember to pause, relax, open to whatever the mind is saying right now. Be okay with whatever it may unfold. Listen what is unfolding and share with your spiritual friends what is true at the moment. So you are welcome to unmute yourself when you're ready. Ding.
And of a metta closing. And it's been really beautiful hearing everyone's voice and sharing this time together. I'm going to read a wish offering from Zenju Earthland Manual from African Wisdom. It's an adapted version. May all beings be cared for and loved, be listened to, understood, and acknowledged despite different views. Be accepted for who they are in this moment. May all beings be well in its broadest sense, be fed, be clothed, be treated as if their life is precious, be held in the eyes of each other as family. May all beings be appreciated, feel welcomed anywhere on the planet, be given time to rest, be still, and experience silence. May all beings be awake. It's so good to be with you all. Thank you for your practice.
Thank you for your practice, everybody. May your
Thank you.
cultural Sangha be opened and fluid, as Susie and many of you mentioned.